All right, welcome back everybody. So we've got another episode of the making videos, and you might think we are gonna talk about this orange thing that's sitting right here, but actually I'm not, because there was another video for that. But today we have the Rubicon UC3. Let's take it out of the box, see what we got. So, there we go. Rubicon UC3 from Roto Grip. And obviously we already know this is a kind of mild asymmetric ball from the Rubicon line that we've all come to know and love. And this is a kind of a dull, sanded, pearl looking gray cover, But let's talk about this ball a little bit, because I think while I chatted about the Idol Helios in the other making video, I actually think there's going to be quite some intrigue with this ball. It's that Roto core, like I said, we already know from the other Rubicon balls, and it's finished 1,000 grit Abalone. It looks pretty dull. And the cover stock is urethane pearl. So this one's probably worthy of a little bit of a chat and try to figure out what we think we're gonna get. I mean, I'm not gonna belabor it because obviously it's we're gonna take it out on the lanes and we'll figure that out. But obviously the urethane craze, it's not going away. It's here to stay. It's the way high rev bowlers on tour kind of can get some control, essentially, right? In terms of shape on lane. And I would say for high rev bowlers, that you might think that it makes sense to get control shape on sport shots, which obviously that makes sense, in certain situations, like a fresh flat shot or whatever. But I see people throwing urethane even on house shots, and the way house shots are designed, they're so cliffed with over under that you can kind of get away with urethane if you have a heavy hand. So when I think about this, right, I mean, you've basically got a kind of pearl, some form of urethane. When you think about what's there already, right, the pitch black, that is more, I would say, close to true urethane, right? The traditional urethane some of us grew up with, those shapes are very different, right? Very early, lots of surface, read the lane, like everything happens up in the first 30 feet or so, and then it kind of rolls, and then you get a really nice control of the back end shape. Of course, that's sort of like, it means that you don't want to throw urethane balls away from the head pin too much. Like, in other words, you don't want to give away the head pin because you're not really going to get that booming shape back. And you could really kind of use a little bit more direct trajectories with urethane in general. So obviously we've got pitch black. The last time Roto Grip, I was going to say the Storm family, but it was Roto Grip, did an asymmetric in a urethane was the hot cell. I have to admit, the hot cell actually stayed in my bag for a long time, and part of that it was the cover really, you can't really call it traditional urethane because any of the modern urethanes are a lot more than traditional urethane, but and it certainly wasn't, say, like a fast pitch, but as time progressed, I mean, it really kind of does take on a traditional urethane, but in terms of shape, that early, like really chuggy reed, and plus this huge core just made even if it flares, it kind of stands up hard. So for me, that was great because on shots like Boardwalk, it was a piece of cake because you just kind of use all that surface and control up front and then walk slowly through, and you didn't have to push it all the way out to like the two board, right? You can kind of play a little bit closer to the track and cheat it a bit. You know, and then obviously we had the fast pitch. I think that is a little, I mean, shape-wise, it looked fairly close to, as you know, the modern version of traditional urethane. The fast pitch, the pitch purple was a very in between. I don't know that it found its footing anywhere. It kind of, you know, sometimes you think about what you want from urethane versus reactive, right? Urethane gives you lots of read up front, you know, sort of a controlled motion down lane. Reactive is going to kind of clear a little bit easier and really respond to friction. And so, you know, fast pitch was one of those where it, through the front, it pushed a little bit like a reactive, but through the backs, it was a little slow like urethane for me. So it kind of made it really tricky. Again, one of those where the combination doesn't quite add up to my game to keep a ball like that in the bag. And I, you know, I again, I'm not seeing that that's what this ball is likely to do. And there's so many urethane balls on the market. You know, obviously we're going to talk about the Hammers ball, right? You know, the purple. We tested, and I know I haven't gotten to it, but I think I will get to the purple hammer finally. But we tested Motives, right? Purple Tank. And, you know, I think that's a little closer to something traditional, although honestly, it's got a ton of back end. So you're kind of getting into this land. The bottom line is you're getting into this land with urethane where these are not pure urethane, right? They're obviously some kind of, you know, I don't want to say composite, I don't know what the right terminology is, but there is some sort of, has to be some kind of material that gives these things different shape. And I'm guessing the intent here, especially with the surface, give you some control, but give you a little bit more motion down lane. And I would say, you know, since we're a little late to the party, I mean, there are a few videos out there already. I think it's sort of bearing out to be what I said. I'm not going to go all hype crazy for any ball, frankly, until I see it myself. So, you know, I'm going to throw it, let you know what it looks like. On this particular ball, what I'm probably going to do is, instead of the 5, like say like the 50 by 5 by 45, which I traditionally have been using, I'm probably going to try to bring the pin a little closer to my PAP to get a little bit more flare, since it is a urethane. I mean, I prefer the shape with the little less flare, little control, but since it's a urethane ball, maybe I should give its own control in some way, and take advantage of the fact that, you know, it has an asymmetric core that can flare and therefore do less damage to the pattern. So that's what I'm going to try. All right, so let's wrap up. We talked about these two balls, the Rubicon UC3, and this is the layout. So it's basically, like I said, a 4.5-inch pin. Just take advantage of a little bit of the flaring capability. Not, you know, super aggressive, nothing extraordinary. So we'll see what that ball does. In terms of urethane, sometimes I'll keep urethane in my bag as a spare ball. I wasn't able to do that with the purple tank, too strong, and I'm guessing this won't be a ball I can use for my spares either. So, but I am interested to kind of see where this might fit in the arsenal, since it's kind of a bit of a unique piece.